In the hustle and bustle of life, it's so easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of chaos. We're constantly bombarded with challenges, deadlines, expectations, and worries. The world around us can sometimes feel like a storm we can't escape. But here's the truth. Peace is not the absence of chaos. It's the presence of calm in the midst of it. Peace is a choice. It's a decision we make every single day. You can't control what's going on in the world, but you have the power to decide how you respond. You can choose to focus on what's going right instead of everything that's wrong. You can choose to have faith even when you don't have all the answers. Remember, peace is not about the absence of problems, but about how we handle them. You get to decide how much peace you'll have today, regardless of what's happening around you. Embrace the present moment. How many of you have ever found yourself caught in the trap of worrying about the past or the future? It's easy to let your mind race ahead or linger on what you cannot change. But peace isn't found in yesterday or tomorrow. It's found right here, right now. God calls us to live in the present, to take a deep breath and rest in the moment we're in. If we can do that, if we can focus on the blessings of today, we'll find peace even in the most chaotic circumstances. And trust that God's plan is bigger than your current chaos. Life will never be without challenges, but every trial we face is an opportunity to lean into our faith. We don't have to understand everything that's happening, but we can trust that God is working behind the scenes. Even when things don't make sense, we know that He is with us. And His plan is always greater than anything we can see right now. Finally, let go of control. We all like to be in control. We like to have things neatly figured out, don't we? But sometimes the hardest thing to do is to let go and surrender to God. He's the one who holds all the answers. And when we try to carry the weight of the world on our own, we miss out on the peace that comes with trusting Him. Peace comes when we release our need to control every outcome and trust that He will make all things work together for our good. So no matter what chaos you might be facing today, remember that peace is yours to choose. It's not about the situation you're in, it's about the posture of your heart. Choose peace, embrace the moment, trust in God's plan, and let go of the burden of control. I promise you, when you do, you'll find peace in the middle of it all. Thank you. Life is often filled with unexpected twists and turns. We face moments of joy, and we also face moments of great difficulty and chaos. In the middle of this constant whirlwind, it can feel like peace is an elusive concept, something that we can never quite attain. But here's the powerful truth. Peace is not a byproduct of our circumstances. It is a choice we make in the midst of them. The idea that peace is a choice might seem counterintuitive. After all, how can we choose peace when everything around us feels out of control? How can we feel calm when the world seems to be falling apart, when everything we value is being tested, or when challenges seem endless? The answer lies in how we choose to view the situations we face and how we respond to them. When we talk about peace as a choice, we are acknowledging that it is not an automatic reaction to life's chaos. The natural inclination in times of trouble is often fear, anxiety, frustration, or anger. These emotions arise when we face uncertainty or hardship, and they feel like the only natural responses. But peace, true inner peace, doesn't come from running away from those feelings or ignoring the reality of what we're facing. It comes from deciding, in the middle of our emotional turmoil, to focus on something greater than what is happening in the moment. Peace is found when we stop allowing our circumstances to define our inner state. So often we mistakenly believe that if we could just change our situation, if we could fix the problem, meet the deadline, or get the right answers, then we would finally feel at ease. But peace is not found in the resolution of external issues. It's found in the way we handle those issues. The first step in choosing peace is understanding that we are not powerless in the face of our challenges. It's easy to feel helpless when everything seems to be spiraling out of control. But even in moments when we can't change what's happening around us, we can control how we respond. We have the ability to choose where we direct our thoughts, our energy, and our focus. By turning our attention away from the chaos and placing it on the things that bring us peace, we begin to take ownership of our inner state. For some, that might mean intentionally focusing on gratitude. When life feels overwhelming, it can be easy to fall into a pattern of complaining or focusing on everything that's going wrong. But peace begins when we stop and take a moment to appreciate what is going right. Even in the midst of struggle, there are always things to be thankful for: relationships, moments of beauty, the small joys that life offers. Shifting our attention to these blessings doesn't erase the difficulties we face, but it does shift our mindset and reminds us to be at peace, no matter how chaotic life may seem. Another way we can choose peace is by embracing stillness. In a world that constantly pulls us in every direction, finding moments of quiet becomes crucial. It's in these moments of stillness that we can reconnect with ourselves, with God, and with our inner sense of calm. Taking time each day to pause, reflect, and center ourselves gives us the strength to face whatever comes our way. It's not always easy to carve out these moments, but it's in the silence that we find clarity and the peace that passes understanding. Choosing peace also means trusting that we are not alone in our struggles. It's easy to feel isolated when chaos surrounds us. We can convince ourselves that no one else understands what we're going through. But peace grows when we remember that we have a support system, whether through faith, family, or friends. Even when everything feels uncertain, knowing that we are not navigating life's challenges alone brings a sense of comfort and reassurance. Ultimately, peace is a decision. It's not something that simply happens to us when our circumstances improve. Something we decide to cultivate each day, even when life is hard. By choosing peace, we're not denying the reality of the chaos around us. Instead, we're choosing to rise above it. We're choosing to acknowledge the chaos without allowing it to dictate our emotional state. Peace is a decision to trust that God has us in His care, that He's guiding us, and that His presence is enough to sustain us no matter what. In moments of difficulty, choosing peace can be a radical act of faith. It's a declaration that no matter how chaotic things get, we will not let fear, anxiety, or frustration steal our calm. We will stand firm in the peace that God offers us, knowing that His peace is not based on the circumstances we're in, but on the strength of His presence in our lives. And when we make that choice, peace begins to take root in our hearts, even in the middle of the storm. We live in a world that's constantly moving, always busy, always demanding. From the moment we wake up until the moment we fall asleep, we are bombarded with tasks, expectations, and distractions. In the midst of this never-ending rush, it's easy to lose sight of the present moment. Our minds wander to the past, regretting decisions we've made, wondering if things could have been different, or to the future filled with uncertainties and worries about what may come. But peace is not found in what has already passed, nor is it found in what's yet to come. True peace is found when we stop and embrace the present moment. So often we hear people say, "If only I had more time," or "if only I could go back to that moment," as if the key to peace lies in some other time or place. But peace doesn't live in the past or the future. It lives in the here and now. The past has already been written, and the future is yet to unfold. Our constant preoccupation with what has already happened or what might happen takes us away from the beauty and the peace that exists in the present. Embracing the present moment is about giving up the constant mental tug of war between what was and what will be. It's about acknowledging that today is the only moment we truly have. It's in this present moment that we experience life right here, right now. And peace is not just a theoretical idea or a distant goal. It's something we can experience in the here and now if we're willing to be fully present. Being present doesn't mean ignoring the past or the future altogether. It doesn't mean that we should never reflect on what's happened or plan for what's to come. But it does mean that we stop letting those things rob us of our peace today. The past is a place to learn from, not a place to live in. Similarly, the future is a place to prepare for, not a place to obsess over. When we can shift our attention back to the present moment, we begin to experience life with a deeper sense of peace. One of the most powerful ways to embrace the present is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully aware of where you are and what you're doing in each moment without distraction or judgment. It's about focusing your attention on the here and now, on what is happening in your immediate surroundings, and letting go of the worries that pull you away from this present moment. In the midst of life's chaos, mindfulness can be a grounding force. It's as simple as taking a few deep breaths and paying attention to the sights, sounds, and sensations around you. Maybe it's feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, hearing the birds chirping in the background, or noticing the taste of your morning coffee. These small moments, when we take the time to truly experience them, can be a source of immense peace. They remind us that in the grand scheme of things, life is happening right here, right now. And there is something incredibly grounding about simply being aware of this reality. But embracing the present isn't just about being mindful of the external world, it's also about accepting the present as it is. We all have moments when life doesn't go according to plan. We all experience times of frustration, disappointment, and uncertainty. But peace comes when we stop resisting the present moment. We can't change what's happening right now, but we can choose to accept it. Acceptance doesn't mean we like everything that's going on, but it does mean that we stop fighting against it and find peace and surrender. When we embrace the present, we stop allowing the challenges of today to steal our joy. Too often we get caught up in wishing things were different or in trying to control outcomes. But peace comes when we let go of the need to control everything. Embracing the present moment is an act of trust, trusting that we are exactly where we need to be, that God is with us right now, and that everything will unfold as it should in its own time. This isn't always easy. In a world that demands so much of us, it's natural to want to look ahead or dwell on the past. But when we do this, we miss out on the peace that's available to us right here in the now. We miss out on the beauty of the moment, the gifts we're given in the here and now. The noise of life often drowns out the quiet voice of peace. But if we stop and listen, we'll find it waiting for us in the present moment. Choosing to embrace the present also means not letting regrets or anxieties rob us of today. Many people spend so much time rehashing their mistakes or worrying about what might happen that they forget to live in the present. When we allow ourselves to be fully present, we free ourselves from the weight of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's uncertainties. We give ourselves permission to be at peace in the moment without carrying the burdens of the past or the future. So when life feels chaotic, when the weight of the world feels like it's bearing down on you, remember this: peace is found in the present. It's not something we have to wait for or work toward. It's something we can choose in this very moment. By embracing the now, we step into a place of peace that will guide us through any storm, no matter how intense or overwhelming it may seem. Peace doesn't exist somewhere out there. It exists right here, right now. And it's always within our reach if we simply choose to embrace the present moment. Life can often feel overwhelming. It seems that just when we begin to get our footing, something else comes along to challenge us. Whether it's a personal struggle, a financial setback, or a relationship issue, the obstacles we face in life can leave us feeling lost, unsure, and fearful of the future. But there's a powerful truth that can provide peace in the middle of the chaos. God's plan for us is always bigger than the challenges we face right now. When we trust that there's a greater purpose behind our difficulties, it can transform our outlook and bring peace to our hearts. Even when we can't fully understand the reasons behind our struggles, the chaos of life can often make us feel like we're in control. When things are difficult, it's easy to think that we should be able to fix everything, to make it all right. But the truth is, life rarely unfolds the way we expect it to, and we can't always control the outcomes. The more we try to control everything around us, the more stressed and anxious we become. But peace comes when we let go of the need to control every aspect of our lives and trust that God is in charge, even in the midst of our struggles. Trusting that God has a plan for our lives doesn't mean that everything will be easy or go the way we want it to. In fact, some of the most difficult experiences we go through are often part of the process that helps us grow, mature, and develop our faith. It's easy to look at difficult moments and wonder why they're happening, But the truth is that these challenges are often part of a bigger picture, a picture we may not fully see right now, but that God is unfolding behind the scenes. When we trust that God is working all things together for our good, it allows us to rest in the peace that comes from knowing that He's in control, even when life feels out of control. Trusting God's plan also means recognizing that He sees what we cannot see. Our vision is limited. We see only what's in front of us and what's happening in our immediate circumstances. But God sees the bigger picture. He sees the end from the beginning. What might seem like a detour or a setback in our lives may actually be a step towards something greater. God uses the difficulties we face to refine us, to teach us, and to prepare us for the future He has in store. When we trust that His plan is bigger than the chaos we experience, we can have peace in the present, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. The Bible reminds us in Romans 8:28 that all things work together for the good of those who love God. This means that no matter what we're going through, God is using those circumstances to bring about something good. Even when we can't see how the pieces fit together, we can trust that God is orchestrating everything for our benefit. Our faith is strengthened when we choose to believe that He is working behind the scenes, even when we can't see the full picture. When we trust God's plan, we also recognize that His timing is perfect. Sometimes we want things to happen right now. We want answers, we want solutions, and we want things to improve quickly. But God's timing is not our timing. While we may be eager for change, He knows the exact right moment for things to unfold. Trusting in God's timing brings peace because we know that He will bring about His plans in the right season. We don't have to rush, and we don't have to force things to happen. We can rest in the confidence that He will make everything beautiful in its time. Trusting God's plan also brings us peace because it reminds us that we are not alone. When life feels difficult, it's easy to feel isolated, like no one understands what we're going through. But God is with us every step of the way. He is our comfort, our guide, and our strength. Knowing that God is walking with us through every challenge allows us to face each day with peace, knowing that He is in control and that we are safe in His care. It's important to remember that trusting God's plan doesn't mean we won't face hardships. In fact, challenges are a natural part of life, but it does mean that we can face those challenges with a sense of peace and purpose, knowing that we're not facing them alone. God's plan is bigger than any difficulty we face, and His love for us is greater than anything that could come our way. When we trust that God's plan is bigger than our current chaos, we are choosing to let go of fear and anxiety. Fear thrives when we feel like we're in control of our own destiny. But when we release that control and place our trust in God, we are free to experience peace. We are free to know that no matter what happens, God is with us and is working things out for our good. In the midst of life's chaos, trust in God's plan brings us back to the foundation of peace. It's not based on what's happening around us, but on the assurance that God is in control and that His plan for us is always for our good. When we rest in that truth, we can face any challenge with peace, knowing that we are exactly where we need to be and that God is guiding us every step of the way. There's a common misconception that we need to control everything in our lives in order to feel safe and secure. We try to control our environments, our relationships, our careers, and even our emotions, believing that by doing so, we'll create a sense of peace. The reality, however, is that the more we try to control everything, the more anxiety we create for ourselves. True peace comes when we let go of the illusion of control and surrender our lives to God's plan. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up or resigning to passivity. In fact, surrender is one of the most empowering choices we can make. When we surrender, we are actively choosing to trust that God knows better than we do and that His ways are higher than our own. We are acknowledging that we don't have all the answers and that we don't have to have everything figured out in order to move forward. By surrendering, we allow ourselves to be guided by something greater than our own understanding and strength. One of the reasons we often resist surrender is because it feels like we're giving up control over our lives. We worry that if we stop trying to manage every detail, things will fall apart. We may fear the unknown or the possibility that things won't turn out the way we want them to. But surrender isn't about abandoning responsibility or care. It's about recognizing that we don't have to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We can release our need to control every outcome and trust that God will take care of what we cannot. Surrendering means letting go of our need to control others. We cannot control the actions, thoughts, or feelings of the people around us, no matter how hard we try. It's easy to become frustrated or upset when others don't meet our expectations or when situations don't unfold the way we envisioned them. But peace comes when we stop trying to force others to act in a certain way or to fit into our desired outcomes. Instead, we focus on our own actions and reactions, and we trust that God will work in the lives of others just as He is working in ours. Letting go of control also involves surrendering our need for perfection. So often we put immense pressure on ourselves to be perfect parents, perfect employees, perfect friends, and perfect individuals. The constant striving for perfection leaves us exhausted and stressed, robbing us of the peace we long for. When we surrender, we allow ourselves to accept that we don't have to be perfect and that it's okay to be flawed and imperfect. God isn't waiting for us to become perfect before He shows His love and grace to us. His love is unconditional, and it's in our imperfection that His strength and grace shine brightest. Another aspect of surrendering is releasing the need to control outcomes. We all have desires, dreams, and plans for our lives, but we must recognize that we don't always know what's best for us. Sometimes what we think we want is not what God has in store for us, and He may lead us down a different path. This can be difficult to accept, especially when we're emotionally invested in a particular outcome. But surrendering means trusting that God's plan is always better than our own. Even when things don't go as we expected, we can trust that He is leading us towards something greater. Surrendering also allows us to stop living in fear of the future. Fear often arises when we try to control everything and worry about what might happen. We fear failure, we fear rejection, and we fear the unknown. But when we surrender, we let go of the need to predict or control the future. We trust that God will provide for us and guide us through whatever lies ahead. Surrendering doesn't mean that we stop planning or making decisions, but it means that we stop worrying and fretting about every possible outcome. We can make decisions with confidence, knowing that we are trusting God to guide our steps. One of the most beautiful aspects of surrender is that it opens us up to God's peace. The more we try to control, the more restless and anxious we become. But when we surrender, we release those burdens and we make room for peace to enter our hearts. Philippians 4:6-7 encourages us to do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This peace comes when we stop trying to control everything and trust God with our needs, our desires, and our future. It's a peace that doesn't make sense in the midst of chaos. It's a peace that only comes from knowing that God is in control. Surrendering isn't a one-time event, it's a daily practice. Every day we are faced with choices about how much we will try to control and how much we will surrender. It's natural to feel the pull of control, especially when life feels uncertain or out of balance. But each day we have the opportunity to surrender our fears, our worries, and our desires to God, trusting that He will guide us. When we do this, we begin to experience a peace that surpasses our understanding, a peace that remains with us even in the midst of life's challenges. So let go of the need to control everything. Trust that God has your life in His hands and that He will lead you through every challenge, every decision, and every season of life. Surrender your worries, your fears, and your plans, and open your heart to the peace that only God can give. When you do, you'll find a sense of rest and calm that can only come from trusting in His perfect will for your life.